The champagne glasses clinked like tiny bells in a room that smelled of leather and lilies. I stood near the marble fireplace, feeling the heat against my back, watching my mother's pearl earrings catch the light as she laughed, that practiced, musical laugh she reserved for relatives who might judge her. The Persian rug beneath my feet was worth more than most people's cars. I knew because I'd heard her brag about it. My fingers worried the hem of my cardigan. It was old, soft from too many washes, and suddenly I felt like I was wearing my poverty as a costume in a room full of people draped in cashmere and confidence. "Darling, stand up straight," my mother murmured as she passed, her voice sweet as antifreeze. She didn't look at me. She never really looked at me. The living room of my parents' estate was crowded with the usual suspects: Aunt Margaret with her surgically perfected face, Uncle Richard who owned half the commercial real estate downtown, my father's business partners with their practiced smiles and calculating eyes. And of course, my sister Vanessa, holding court near the grand piano in a dress that probably cost what I made in 3 months at the bookstore. I was 24 years old, and I still felt like a ghost in this house. "Where's that boyfriend of yours?" Aunt Margaret's voice cut through my thoughts. She was looking at me the way you'd look at a stain on expensive upholstery. "The one with the, what does he do again?" "He's a mechanic," I said quietly. The words felt like an apology, though they shouldn't have. "How practical?" Her smile didn't reach her eyes. It never did. I felt him before I saw him, Tyler's hand, warm and steady, finding the small of my back. He appeared beside me like he always did, exactly when I needed him, wearing the navy button-down I'd told him made his eyes look like the ocean. He didn't belong here any more than I did, but somehow he wore his outsider status like armor while I wore mine like shame. "Ladies," he said, nodding politely. His voice was calm, deeper than you'd expect, with just a hint of gravel. "Beautiful home." Aunt Margaret's eyes flickered over him, his clean but inexpensive clothes, his working man's hands, the watch that didn't scream designer. I saw her categorize and dismiss him in 3 seconds flat. "Yes, well," she said, already turning away. "Some of us have been blessed." Tyler's thumb traced a small circle on my back. "Breathe," it said. "I'm here." My father's voice boomed from across the room. Everyone, gather around. We have a very special announcement to make." My mother clasped her hands together, that same rehearsed delight painting her face. Vanessa was practically glowing, her perfectly highlighted hair catching the chandelier light like some kind of celestial being. 26 years old and still the sun their world revolved around. The crowd shifted, champagne glasses in hand, forming a semicircle around the entrance to the garage. My stomach twisted. Something was wrong. I could feel it the way you feel a storm coming, that pressure in the air that makes your teeth ache. "Our darling Vanessa," my mother began, her voice trembling with theatrical emotion, "has worked so hard on her social media career. 1 million followers! Can you imagine? And she's been such a light in our lives, such a joy. I'd worked 2 jobs through college." Vanessa had posted selfies and shopping hauls. "So we wanted to do something special," my father continued, pulling a remote from his pocket. "To show her how proud we are." The garage door began to rise with a mechanical hum that made my chest tight. There, gleaming under the lights like something from a dream, sat a BMW. Not just any BMW, the latest model, wrapped in a bow so red it looked like arterial blood. The room exploded into applause and squeals. Vanessa covered her mouth with both hands, tears, actual tears, streaming down her face as she ran to my parents. My mother held her, both of them crying now, while my father beamed like he'd just won Father of the Year. I felt Tyler's hand tighten on my back. "Oh my God, thank you, thank you." Vanessa sobbed. "This is incredible. You guys are the best parents in the entire world." Something cold was spreading through my chest. I thought about my graduation. Bachelor's degree in literature, honors, scholarships I'd fought for because they told me I needed to earn my own way and understand the value of hard work. I remembered standing in my cap and gown, searching the crowd for their faces, finding them late, distracted, my mother checking her phone while I walked across the stage. Vanessa had been given a trip to Paris for her high school graduation. She'd failed 2 classes that semester. And, my mother said, wiping her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, "We have something for everyone." Because family is about sharing our blessings. My father produced a tray of small envelopes. My heart, traitorous and stupid, lifted for just a moment. He moved through the room, handing them out to relatives. I watched Aunt Margaret open hers, saw her eyebrows raise. Uncle Richard clapped my father on the back. The business partners nodded approvingly. Finally, my father reached me. He looked at me then, really looked at me, and something in his eyes made my throat close up. It wasn't love. It wasn't even recognition. It was satisfaction. He handed me an envelope. It was thinner than the others. "For you, sweetie," he said, the word sweetie sounding like something rotting. "I hope you appreciate it." Tyler's entire body had gone rigid beside me. I could feel the anger radiating off him like heat, but his face remained carefully neutral. My fingers trembled as I opened the envelope. Inside was a single bill. $2. The room kept talking, kept laughing, kept celebrating, but the sound had become underwater distant. I stared at the wrinkled bills in my hand. $2. The price of a cheap coffee. A lottery ticket. A slap. "That's for the vending machine money you took when you were 12, my father said, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. "Remember? You thought we didn't notice, but we always notice. Consider us even now." The memory surfaced like something drowning coming up for air. I'd been 12, hungry after school, my mother on another diet and refusing to keep junk food in the house. I'd taken quarters from my father's change dish to buy crackers from the school vending machine. I'd felt guilty for weeks. Vanessa had crashed her first car at 17, drunk, though they'd covered it up, and they bought her another one the next month. That's... Aunt Margaret was looking at me, her expression a mix of pity and disgust. "Well, I suppose that's fair? We believe in accountability," my mother said smoothly. "Every action has consequences. It's important for children to learn that." Children. I was 24. Tyler's hand found mine, his fingers lacing through mine so tight it almost hurt. When I looked up at him, his jaw was clenched so hard I could see the muscle jumping. "We should go," he said quietly, "just for me." But I couldn't move. I was 12 again, standing in front of my parents' bedroom door, trying to explain about the quarters. I was 16, asking if they'd come to my poetry reading. I was 19, calling to tell them I'd won the department award. I was every age and no age, forever standing in this house that had never been a home, holding evidence of my worth in my hand. $2. "Oh, honey, don't look so serious." Vanessa appeared beside me, keys dangling from her finger, her smile wide and thoughtless as a child's. "It's just a joke. You know Dad and his sense of humor. Come see the car." The interior is Italian leather. A joke, I heard myself say. My voice sounded strange, distant. Well, yes. I mean. She glanced at the money in my hand, and for just a second, something flickered across her face. Guilt? Understanding? But it was gone before I could name it. You have to admit, it's kind of funny. And it's not like you need money anyway. You have Tyler. She said his name the way you'd say coupon or discount. Tyler's voice was very quiet, very controlled. We're leaving. Oh, don't be so sensitive, my mother said, suddenly beside us. How did she move so silently? Honestly, you two are so dramatic. This is a family celebration. The least you could do is be happy for your sister. Be happy, I repeated. The words tasted like copper. My father joined the circle, and I realized we were surrounded. Trapped. Like animals in a pen while everyone watched. You know your problem, he said, his voice still jovial for the audience but his eyes cold. You've always been ungrateful. We gave you everything, a roof over your head, food, education, and all you do is sulk around like the world owes you something. I worked for my education, I said softly. You stopped paying after freshman year. You said I needed to learn responsibility. See? Ungrateful. He looked around at the crowd, inviting them to agree. Several nodded. We taught you the value of work, and you throw it in our faces. Vanessa drove a car that cost $60,000. She'd never had a job. This is insane, Tyler said, his voice still controlled but fraying at the edges. You people are, careful, my father cut him off. You're a guest in my home. Remember that. Some home, Tyler muttered. What was that? My father stepped closer. The room had gone quiet. Everyone was watching now, champagne glasses frozen halfway to mouths, the spectacle more entertaining than small talk. I said, Tyler spoke clearly now, some home. Where you humiliate your daughter in front of everyone, give her $2 while buying her sister a luxury car, and then call her ungrateful for not performing gratitude. How dare you, no. Tyler's voice cut through like a blade. How dare you? All of you. Standing around watching this like it's entertainment. My mother's face had gone hard. I think it's time for you to leave. We're going, Tyler said. Come on, baby. But my father blocked the path. Actually, since we're airing grievances, let's talk about you. A mechanic. Dating my daughter. You think we don't know what you're after? Dad, I started. You think we don't see it? Some grease monkey sniffing around our daughter, hoping to get a piece of the family money? He was shouting now, really shouting. Well, guess what? She's getting nothing. Nothing. Every penny of this estate goes to Vanessa. Every single penny. So whatever game you're playing, whatever long con this is, you can forget it. The room was dead silent. I felt something crack inside me. Not break, breaking would be clean. This was a crack, jagged and deep, the kind that runs through the foundation of a building and means everything is going to collapse eventually. I never wanted your money, I whispered. I just wanted you to love me. My mother laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, here we go. The victim routine. You always were so melodramatic. I'm melodramatic? Something hot and sharp was rising in my throat. I worked 40 hours a week while taking 6 classes. I graduated with honors. I've never asked you for anything except to be seen, to matter, to be what? To be Vanessa? My mother's perfectly made-up face twisted. Well, you're not. You're not beautiful enough, not charming enough, not special enough. Vanessa lights up a room. You suck the air out of it. We tried, we really did, but you can't force chemistry. The words landed like physical blows. I actually staggered back. You're not well, Vanessa said suddenly, her voice gentle, concerned. Maybe you should see someone. A therapist or something. Because this jealousy, this anger, it's not healthy. And there it was. The final move. Make me crazy. Make me the problem. I think, my father said, his voice returning to that jovial tone, that it's best if you take some space from the family. Sort yourself out. Get some help. And maybe it's better if you don't come around for a while. I couldn't breathe. Are you disowning me? Don't be dramatic. We're suggesting distance. For your own good. Tyler's arm wrapped around my waist, holding me up, because my legs had forgotten how to be solid. Say something, I whispered to the room. To Aunt Margaret, to Uncle Richard, to all these people who'd known me since I was a child. Someone say something. But they looked away. Every single one of them found somewhere else to direct their eyes. Let's go, Tyler said. Now. I let him guide me toward the door. My legs moved without my permission, mechanical, strange. Oh, and sweetheart? My mother's voice followed us. Don't bother coming to Sunday dinner. Or Christmas. Or, well. Call when you've figured yourself out. The night air hit my face like cold water. Tyler steered me toward his truck, a beat-up Ford that ran perfectly because he took care of it, and helped me into the passenger seat. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't buckle the seatbelt. He did it for me, his movements gentle, careful, like I was made of something breakable. Because I was. The $2 bills were still clutched in my fist. Tyler drove in silence, his jaw tight, one hand on the wheel and one hand holding mine. I watched the city lights blur past the window, street lamps and stoplights bleeding together like watercolors. My phone started buzzing. I looked at the screen. A notification from Instagram. Then another. And another. With numb fingers, I opened the app. Vanessa had posted a video. The thumbnail was her, radiant, standing next to the BMW with the red bow. Most amazing parents ever, the caption read. So blessed to have a family that supports my dreams. #blessed, #new car, #family first, #dreams do come true. The video was her crying, thanking them, hugging them. 400 comments already. All hearts and fire emojis and you deserve it, queen. Then I saw the stories. Screenshot after screenshot appearing on my feed. A family group chat I hadn't even known existed. My mother, I'm worried about her. She made such a scene tonight. Aunt Margaret, always been difficult. Remember her teenage years? Uncle Richard, that boyfriend is clearly using her. Someone should warn her. Vanessa, I feel so bad for her. She just can't be happy for anyone else. My father, we've tried everything. At some point, you have to let them hit rock bottom. They were posting about me. In real time. While I'd still been in the house. More notifications. My distant cousins, people I hadn't spoken to in years, all weighing in. All agreeing. All painting me as the villain in a story they hadn't witnessed. Ungrateful. Jealous. Always knew something was off about her. That mechanic boyfriend is obviously a gold digger. My phone kept buzzing, vibrating in my hand like something alive and malicious. Private messages now. People I'd gone to high school with, people from my mother's country club, distant relatives I'd met twice. Your poor family. You should be ashamed. Vanessa deserves better than a sister like you. Tyler pulled into a parking lot. I didn't even know where we were until he cut the engine and I looked up to see his apartment building, old brick, modest, real. Give me the phone, he said quietly. I handed it to him. He powered it off and set it in the cup holder. Come on, he said. Let's get you inside. His apartment was small. One bedroom, a kitchen you could barely turn around in, mismatched furniture that was clean but worn. It smelled like him, motor oil and pine soap and something else I'd never been able to name, something that meant safety. I stood in the middle of his living room, still holding those $2 bills, and I started to laugh. It wasn't a nice sound. It was jagged and wrong, breaking apart in my throat. Hey, Tyler said, pulling me toward the couch. Hey, come here. $2, I gasped between laughs that were definitely turning into sobs. $2. I know. For vending machine quarters. From when I was 12. 12 years old. I know, baby. I know. The laughter died. The tears didn't. I cried like something was being excavated from my chest. Great, heaving sobs that bent me double. Tyler held me through it, his arms solid and warm, his heartbeat steady against my ear. I thought I managed. I thought if I was good enough, if I worked hard enough, if I just proved. No, he said firmly. No. This isn't about you not being enough. This is about them being broken. You understand me? Broken people who need someone to be beneath them so they can feel tall. But Vanessa is their doll. Their show pony. And they'll discard her the second she stops performing too. But you? He pulled back to look at me, his hands framing my face. You got out. You're real. You're whole. That terrifies them. His eyes were so blue. In this light, with tears blurring my vision, they looked like safety itself. I can't go back, I whispered. No, he agreed. You can't. I don't know what to do. Tonight? Nothing. Tonight you breathe. Tomorrow we figure it out. He made me tea I didn't drink. Ordered pizza I barely touched. Turned on a movie I didn't watch. And through it all, he stayed close, his presence the only thing tethering me to earth. Around midnight, I finally spoke again. Why do you stay with me? He looked at me, surprised. What? You could be with anyone. Someone without all this damage. This family. Why stay? Tyler was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood and walked to his bedroom. I heard a drawer open. When he came back, he was holding a photograph. This is me, he said, sitting beside me. 10 years ago. The boy in the photo stood in front of a mansion that made my parents' house look modest. He wore a suit that probably cost more than my car. His smile was practiced, empty. I looked from the photo to Tyler. Back to the photo. I don't understand. My name is Tyler Harrison. My father owns Harrison Industries. You know, the tech company? Fortune 500? We're worth. He laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. A lot. More money than any human needs. I couldn't process it. But you're a mechanic. I left. When I was 21, I walked away from all of it. The money, the expectations, the performance. I told my father I was done being an accessory to his empire. He said I'd come crawling back within a year. Tyler looked at me, and his eyes were full of something raw. That was 6 years ago. Why didn't you tell me? Because I needed to know you loved me for me. Not for the money. Not for the name. And because. He touched my face gently. Because I knew what your family was the first time I met them. I recognized it. The same sickness my family has. And I thought if you knew I had money, you'd never believe that I love you for exactly who you are. Do you? The words came out small. Love me? Are you kidding? He laughed, and this time it was real. You're the first real thing I've found in this whole plastic world. You work at a bookstore because you love books, not because it impresses anyone. You wear that old cardigan because it's soft, not because it's designer. You're kind to strangers and you cry at sad movies and you're so goddamn smart it makes my chest hurt sometimes. So yeah. I love you. I love you so much it scares me. I kissed him. It was messy and tear-stained and desperate, and he kissed me back like I was oxygen. When we finally broke apart, I asked, "What do we do now?" His expression shifted. Became something harder. Now? Now we fight back. I don't want revenge. Good. Because this isn't revenge. This is truth. He stood, started pacing. They've committed fraud, you know. Financial abuse. Emotional abuse. Everything you've told me over the past year, it's documented. Recorded. Actionable. I don't understand. Your trust fund. The one your grandmother left you. You told me they said it was gone, spent on your education. But they also said they stopped paying for your education after freshman year. So where did the money go? My mind was spinning. I don't know. I do. I had someone look into it. A lawyer friend. Discreetly. He knelt in front of me. Your trust fund was never spent on education. Your parents transferred it to Vanessa. Illegally. It was in your name, protected, meant for you. They committed fraud. The room tilted. How much? $250,000. I couldn't breathe. That's not possible. It is. And that's just the trust fund. There's more. Your grandmother's will had specific provisions. She knew what your parents were. She tried to protect you. They ignored it, falsified documents, buried it in legal paperwork. They've been stealing from you for 6 years. Why would you? I stopped. You had me investigated? No. I had them investigated. After the first time you told me your mother said you weren't worth investing in. Something felt wrong. So I asked my lawyer to look. He gripped my hands. I should have told you sooner. But I wanted to be sure. And I thought maybe they'd come around. That they'd see you. But tonight they showed me exactly who they are. Yeah. I looked at the $2 bills on the coffee table. Evidence. Proof. A receipt for my worth in their eyes. Something inside me shifted. Not breaking. Solidifying. I want them to face consequences, I said slowly. Not because I want revenge, but because what they did was wrong. And if I don't stop them, they'll do it to someone else. They'll do it to Vanessa eventually. Tyler smiled. It was sharp and fierce and beautiful. Then let's get to work. The next morning, Tyler made coffee while I called the lawyer. Her name was Rebecca Chin, and her voice was crisp, professional, and utterly unimpressed by family dynasties. Miss Parker, she said after I'd explained everything. I've been waiting for you to call. Tyler told you about me. He told me about your family. And yes, what they did is actionable. Very actionable. With your permission, I'd like to start proceedings immediately. What does that mean? It means we file a lawsuit for fraud, embezzlement, and financial abuse. We force them to return what they stole. And we make sure they can't do this to anyone else. She paused. But I need you to understand, this will get ugly. They will fight. And it will all become public. I thought about the social media posts. The group chat. The year of microaggressions and silent cruelty. Let it be public, I said. I'm done hiding their secrets. Over the next 3 weeks, Rebecca moved with surgical precision. She filed paperwork. Subpoenaed documents. Brought in a forensic accountant who traced every dollar of my grandmother's money through a labyrinth of transfers and shell accounts. Tyler's father's resources helped, though Tyler made sure I knew his father didn't know the details. He thinks I'm helping a friend with a legal matter, Tyler explained. Which is true. I just haven't mentioned that friend is my girlfriend. Will you tell him? Eventually? Yeah. When this is over. When you're ready. He kissed my forehead. One nightmare family at a time. The accountant, a woman named Dorothy who wore sensible shoes and had the personality of a spreadsheet, found more than we'd expected. They've been siphoning money from various accounts for years, she explained during a meeting at Rebecca's office. Not just your trust fund. There's Social Security benefits that should have gone to you as a minor after your grandfather died, redirected. College funds from other relatives disappeared into Vanessa's accounts. Even the settlement from your car accident when you were 16. What car accident? Dorothy looked up sharply. The one where you were rear-ended. Severe whiplash, hospital stay. The insurance company paid out $40,000. I remembered the accident. I remembered the pain. I didn't remember any settlement. They told me insurance covered the hospital bills, I said numbly. That we were even. Oh, honey, Rebecca said, and for the first time, her professional mask cracked. I am going to destroy them. My phone, which I'd turned back on to document the harassment, kept buzzing with messages from my family. They started concerned. "Mom, sweetheart, I'm worried. Please call." Then annoyed. "Dad, this silent treatment is childish. We raised you better." Then angry. "Vanessa, you're being so selfish. Mom is crying every day because of you." Then threatening. "Dad, if you don't respond by Friday, there will be consequences. We control more than you think." I showed everything to Rebecca. She smiled. "Keep them coming," she said. Evidence of harassment and emotional manipulation. They're building our case for us. On a Tuesday afternoon, 4 weeks after that night, Rebecca called. "We're ready," she said. "I'm filing everything tomorrow morning. But there's something you should know. Your parents' attorney reached out. They want to settle." "Settle?" "They're offering you $100,000 to go away quietly. No lawsuit. No publicity. You sign an NDA and never speak to them again. $100,000. More money than I'd ever seen. Enough to start over completely." "That's less than half of what they stole," I said. "Correct. And they get to keep their reputation. Keep lying about what they did." "Also correct." I thought about Vanessa's Instagram followers. My parents' business connections. The carefully curated image of the perfect family. "File everything," I said. "No settlement." Rebecca's smile was audible through the phone. "I was hoping you'd say that." The lawsuit hit like a bomb. Local news picked it up first, prominent family accused of embezzling daughter's inheritance. Then the larger outlets. Tech industry connections entangled in family fraud case. My parents' faces on the news, looking shocked and betrayed. Vanessa posted a tearful video. I had no idea about any of this. I'm just as shocked as everyone else. Family is so complicated. The comments section ate her alive. You drove a BMW while your sister had nothing and you had no idea? Complicit. The golden child always knows. They just don't care. I watched it all from Tyler's apartment, feeling strangely disconnected. Like watching a movie about someone else's life. My parents tried to control the narrative. They gave an interview claiming I'd always been troubled, unstable, that I was lying for attention. They produced report cards from high school showing B's, ignoring the straight A's from college. They implied I had substance abuse problems. I didn't. They painted me as a vengeful daughter angry about not getting a car. But Rebecca had the documents. Bank statements. Forged signatures. Email threads where my mother discussed redirecting my grandfather's Social Security benefits. A text message where my father joked about me being the broke one while planning Vanessa's Europe trip. The truth was boring and brutal. They'd stolen from me because they could. Because they'd decided Vanessa was worth investing in and I wasn't. The judge agreed. 6 weeks after filing, we stood in a courtroom that smelled like furniture polish and old documents. My parents sat on one side with their attorney, expensive suit, practiced sympathy. I sat on the other side with Rebecca, sensible suit, righteous fury. The judge was a woman in her 60s who'd clearly seen everything and been impressed by none of it. I've reviewed the evidence, she said. And frankly, I'm appalled. The systematic financial abuse documented here represents not just theft, but a betrayal of fiduciary duty that goes beyond criminal. It's morally unconscionable. My mother sobbed into a handkerchief. My father stared straight ahead, his jaw tight. The defendants were ordered to repay the full amount of $250,000, plus interest, plus damages for emotional distress, an additional $75,000. Furthermore, I'm ordering a full audit of all family accounts to ensure no additional fraud has occurred. Rebecca squeezed my hand under the table. Additionally, the judge continued, I'm placing a restraining order. The defendants are not to contact the plaintiff directly or through third parties. No social media posts, no group chats, no flying monkeys. If you have something to say, it goes through attorneys. My father finally looked at me. The expression on his face was pure hatred. Good, I thought. Let him hate me. At least it's honest. Outside the courthouse, reporters waited. Microphones thrust forward like weapons. How do you feel about the verdict? What do you want people to know? Do you plan to reconcile with your family? Tyler started to push through, but I stopped him. I'll say something. I looked at the cameras. Thought about my mother watching. My father. Vanessa. All the relatives who'd looked away. I want people to know that family isn't about blood, I said clearly. It's about love and respect and seeing each other as human beings. What my parents did, stealing from me, humiliating me, trying to erase me, that's not family. That's ownership. And I refuse to be owned. Do you forgive them? Someone called out. No, I said honestly. But I don't need to forgive them to move forward. I just needed them to stop. Tyler's hand found mine as we walked away. Cameras flashed, questions followed, but we kept walking. His truck was parked 3 blocks away. We walked in silence, my heels clicking on concrete, his steady presence beside me. You okay? He finally asked. I don't know, I admitted. I won. But it doesn't feel like winning. That's because it's not about winning. It's about surviving. He opened the passenger door for me. And you did. You survived them. The money was transferred 2 weeks later. $325,000, plus attorney fees. I stared at the number in my bank account, unable to make it feel real. What will you do with it? Tyler asked. We were in his apartment, eating takeout Thai food on the couch. I don't know. Save it. Invest it. Finally fix my car. I picked at my pad thai. Maybe go back to school. Get my master's in literature like I always wanted. You could do all of that and more. I looked at him, this man who'd hidden his wealth to find something real, who'd investigated my family to protect me, who'd stood beside me through everything without asking for anything in return. Tyler? Yeah? Tell your father about me. He set down his food. Are you sure? Yeah. I'm sure. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of shame. And I love you. So if your family is part of you, I want to meet them. Even if they're broken too. He kissed me. Soft and sweet and full of promise. They're going to love you, he said. My mom especially. She always said I needed someone who didn't care about the money. I don't care about the money. I know. That's why she'll love you. We told his parents the following weekend. His father, stern and calculating in the photos, turned out to be quiet and thoughtful in person. His mother was warm, immediately pulling me into a hug that smelled like vanilla and felt like safety. "Tyler told us what you've been through," she said. "I'm so sorry. No one should have to fight their own family for basic respect." "I'm okay," I said. "I'm still here." "More than okay," Tyler's father said. "Strong. That takes strength, what you did. Standing up to them." Over dinner, homemade, unpretentious, nothing like the catered affairs at my parents' house, they asked about my life. My work at the bookstore. My love of literature. My plans for the future. They didn't ask about the lawsuit. They didn't ask about the money. They asked about me. It was such a foreign feeling that I cried in the bathroom halfway through dessert. Tyler's mother found me there, handed me tissues without comment, and waited. "Sorry, I managed. This is so normal. And nice. And I don't know how to receive kindness," she finished gently. "That's what abuse does. It makes love feel suspicious." She touched my shoulder. "Take your time. We're not going anywhere." Vanessa reached out 3 months after the verdict. Not directly, restraining order, but through a mutual friend who called me nervous. "She wants to talk," the friend said. "She says she's in therapy. That she's starting to understand what happened." "Good for her," I said honestly. "I hope therapy helps." "Will you talk to her?" "No. Not now. Maybe not ever." "That's not cruelty, it's self-preservation." I paused. "Tell her I hope she finds whatever she's looking for." "But she can't find it in me. I'm not her salvation or her villain. I'm just the sister she forgot to see." The friend was quiet. Then,